37 help you with your dinner plans. We open at 4 every Wednesday through Sunday, and we're ready to host you in any of our indoor or outdoor dining rooms, or you can get your meal to go. Call today to place your order or reserve your table. 860-315-5640, and teach everyone in your life the importance of a quality home-cooked meal from Grill 37. Check out our full menu at grill37.com.
The Managing Director of Paragon Trust Company and tax and private client practitioner joins us to bring a common sense approach to money in a world of total insanity. Let's welcome Tony D'Angelo.
All right, every Tuesday, same bad time, we bring on the one and only Tony D'Angelo to share his wisdoms with us from one week to another, and he digs and digs and digs and usually finds out some interesting information. Tony, let's start with how are you?
I am fine, proud to be among everybody. If you're sharing my wisdom, things are tough in these here parts, my friend.
I believe it. So listen, real quick, before to get you off and running, I just noticed that things that we sometimes think are right and decent aren't, right? And you can point to...
apropos of your most excellent monologue, they want us to be in bizarro world, and I get a lot of things, that come to me during the week. People asking me, take a look at this, take a look at that. Believe me, I could do it 80 hours a week if I had 80 hours a week, but... where we know something that's absolutely wrong, the continual kingly reign of our governor/king, Ned Lamont, and we know exactly how this saga is going to turn out. I mean, regardless of what happens, I'm a glass half full kid, but you know what's going to take place. As Warner Wolf would say, you could turn off your TV sets right there in the third inning. But it dawned on me this week, Lee Elci, that every quote-unquote crime boss had lieutenants. Gotti had Gravano and Locascio, and Capone had Torrio, and Gallo had Profaci. You kind of get the idea. It takes a village to do this stuff. So this morning I kind of asked the question as to why is this acceptable for this guy to keep having this kingly reign, and has it ever dawned on anybody else? Because it most recently, and I have to underline in bold, most recently dawned on me that there could be some others who were profiting from this mess. What do you think?
Of course, that has to be the case, right?
If not, I mean, we'd have our second greatest historical event since the virgin birth. But anyway, you kind of wonder. A lot of stuff comes to me. A lot of stuff you see around. Some of it could be crackpot. And again, people say, "Well, can't you look?" It's like, well, look, clone me 6 times over, and I could look at everything you want me to. But this one here kind of caught my eye. We have a Senate Majority Leader, Bob Duff. He's a key lieutenant in Ned's army. Now, Bob is married to Tracy Duff. Tracy is the vice president and global controller. This is all public information. I'm not talking out of school. For an outfit known as General Atlantic. She's high up in executive row there. General Atlantic is a global growth equity investor. The business model is very similar to Annie Lamont's Oak HCFT. So, right away you have an analogy kind of forming in your mind. It's undisputed that Senator Duff is a champion of education in the state, and, his positions have been, shall we say, hotly contested. I'm trying to be as kind as I can. He fights with many over education and what's right for children. He's also a champion of racial justice and equity, particularly in education. Again, it's undisputed. You don't believe me, you can look it up. He certainly hasn't been shy about it. Now, in General Atlantic, there's many, many, many equities involved in, they're doing the same kind of thing, venture capital. And there's too many. I'm really going to have to do this over a couple of seconds. There's too many to look at, but in one sitting. But one in particular that caught my eye is something called Panorama Education. Now, if you go to the Panorama website, they come off as being an educational survey provider, but they are a great purveyor, and they're not shy about this at all. As something known as social emotional learning, SEL. SEL is documented in many, many, many places to be sort of the, whatever you want to call it, kind of the service road to critical race theory. Now, Panorama had its start about 7 years ago with Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan. It kind of floundered for a while, but most recently, in the past year and a half, they've been getting their hands on a lot of CARES Act money. They've recently had a $60 million investment, this is just this month, to help schools better understand their students. Now, it's very interesting in the sequence. General Atlantic took a large position here in July. In September, you've got this big buy. Whoa, guess what? The Connecticut Department of Education is utilizing Panorama Education. Now, what are they paying them? Again, this stuff is bearded. You don't know. They hide it from you. But we know that the Connecticut Department of Education is a huge money machine. $405 million this year alone, $36 billion since 2012, and they're running surveys in the state. They're running them in towns like Branford and Greenwich and Farmington and East Lyme, and they're doing things like climate change and racial equity, SEL, and critical race theory. Panorama's not shy. We want to do SEL. Now, Ned himself is a champion of social and emotional learning. You can look it up. It's all over the place. So you kind of wonder what's running there. Now, one can make the argument here, Lee Elci, that, well, okay, she works for the company. But, hey, wait a minute. She has a high-level involvement with this thing. And, again, it's Connecticut. There's no disclosure. There's no ethics. There's no transparent bidding. And one cannot underestimate the value of, to investors is saying, well, look, we've got somebody here who's out championing, these causes for this equity. Now, again, this is a game with this guy that's just getting started. Think of the political calculus here, just for a moment. Blumenthal is on the ropes. Now, Himes goes to succeed Blumenthal. Where does Bob Duff go? It's not hard to figure out. He's a rising star. And, they all want to deny that there's no critical race theory in the state. Think again. There's a lot of bread being buttered here. It's some money, honey. Your ball, my friend.
Well, how are people getting paid from this, though?
Well, the investors are investing,
right,
and they're selling this thing to all of the various school districts. And the revenues are coming in. I mean, if you look at what they're making throughout the country, right, I mean, it's absolutely positively huge. Like, for example, in Moore County, North Carolina, and this is Panorama Education is really kind of the subject of a lot of these school board riots. There was a huge riot happening there in Fairfax County, Virginia. $1.9 million went to something where Panorama surveys were used as a quote-unquote functionary of critical race theory. So that's how they're getting paid, municipal budgets, CARES Act money.
So East Lyme High School then contracts out to this
or
group.
The Department of Education. Now, as far as is East Lyme paying, they don't show you that. I really don't know.
Okay. No, I was just curious. I wanted to see, how direct it goes right back to Ned's wife and eventually to him.
Well, they're building an equity. They're building something here, and they're kind of in on the ground for it. They've got an agenda. So when it comes back to Ned and this kingly rule, if you've got a good thing going, if you've got something operating, and where there isn't if there isn't sunlight shed on this, man, keep the game running. I mean, I don't know how people can't see this. It amazes me.
All right, so you said there was multiple layers and multiple levels of this. So you've got this. What else have you uncovered this past week?
Well, there's some other things we're going to get to next week because it's just kind of too much to get to in
right,
one sitting. But this isn't the only involvement like this in, quote-unquote, someone connected to Ned in something economic. The other thing has to do with other types of equities in the General Atlantic family that Again, these people have aspirations, and they're going for it. That is something that's worthy of its own, shall we say, segment.
Do you think that Ned got into this governor gig to, I guess, move ahead financially, or do you think he uncovered the idea that, hey, I can make a whole bunch of money he did it after the fact?
It is so chicken and egg, and I think it actually goes down to, quote unquote, the origins of the coronavirus as to who knew what, when, and where. Yeah. I mean, they all jumped on this thing in a hurry. The money came, and it is amazing to me how quickly they fashioned an agenda based on the money. And I say to myself, Lee Elci, these people aren't all that intuitive. So there had to be some kind of planning involved. When and how and who and where. Yeah. Again, it's chicken and egg.
All right, we got like two minutes left. I want to ask you something that's going on in the national scene. I know you're constantly covering the Ned gig, and we appreciate that. But you see what's going on at the southern border. You see how it's like there's nothing to see here from this administration over and over and over again. I mean, is this the most remarkable thing? I mean, this is 7-8 months in. I haven't probably been following politics as long as you have. You're a little bit older than me. I've never seen anything like this.
I get up every day. I don't know whether to laugh, cry, scream, or throw up. I don't know what – I mean, basically what you're doing is the fundamental part of the United States is this is a secure country, and, the American way is something we had to preserve. We went through the 9/11 show. We went through the fact that the whole point of what we learned on 9/11 was that, our freedom was important and we can defend ourselves because of our infrastructure. Now you've got people in leadership who are either working, like Ned and his lieutenants, or like Biden and Harris, or whatever Biden may know, to just completely obliterate anything, with respect to national security.
It's unbelievable.
And I mean, why are they doing it? I mean, basically, I think if you're destroying businesses, if you're destroying education by putting in, these kinds of theories and rewriting history, it's basically, I think you just want a class of minions so you could just rule over them. That's the only thing I can come up with.
The way they talk to the country, the way they talk to the media, Afghanistan, the pullout, no, not that big a deal. The dead people that the bomb, the 13 dead soldiers, that's what happens in war. You've got this over the horizon drone strike that killed an entire family. Oh, it just happens. Then you've got 15,000 people under a bridge in Texas, most of them from Haiti. Oh, nothing really to see here. In fact, we don't want you to see it. You can't fly drones anymore. It's one thing after another. And we just kind of just sit here and take it, like take the beating. I don't get it.
I don't get it either, and I don't get the ignorance. I don't get it on a national level. I don't get it on a local level. It's like, what part of this do you not understand?
Forget about politics. Forget about taking a side, Republican, Democrat. This is just wrong. What's going on?
It's wrong. Yeah, I mean, politics used to be, do you put money into an education budget, or, if not, you're going to be paying for prisons down the road, or social programs versus tax cuts. I mean, these people are trying to play baseball with basketball rules. It's unbelievable.
All right, bro. That's great stuff again on Ned, and we'll do more next week. I can't thank you enough.
My pleasure. Take care, guys.
All right, pal. Tony D, there he is every Tuesday, 6:35, bringing it.